What's going on, everybody? Want to make a quick video on a new feature, I guess, kind of combination to other features. No, it's not what you're looking at here. This is dashboards. Stay tuned. That's coming in another video. Super cool, but it's rapid response. If you recall, I mentioned this prior. Rapid response is great for reducing time to context and allowing direct one-to-one low latency queries of devices. So if you really want to deep investigate one device. However, we added a number of additional enhancements to make it actually more usable from a day-to-day standpoint and kind of not have to have multiple tabs. So we have a query history here, which I'll show, but we've also integrated in QuerySmith directly in, as you can see. And if we want to, we can size these to get more size where applicable. So if I did something very simple like select star from users, I can enumerate all the users on this given device, and you'll see it's here on the history where I could actually just call back the results at any point in time. So I kind of have that full accountability history. But where this becomes really valuable is both in deep investigation of one device, so you can quickly pivot without having to run a query, go to a different page. But it's also for crafting your own query. So just as a brief example, we went ahead and we were trying to identify environmental variable changes in an environment. So I could say, environment variables, and then right here, QuerySmith is just inline. So it will generate me a query here momentarily. And then we have it already. And so we can see here the query, we'll hit accept, and then we can just run this query and we'll have results from that device. But let's say that, okay, perfect. We have right here the exact results, and obviously all of this is scalable, so I can adjust this to whatever I want. But if I was like, okay, well, actually I want to see per user environment variables, rather than having to go ahead and figure out what query that is, I can go ahead and right here in line within QuerySmith, say per user environment variables, and hit generate. Oops, I missed generate, and hit generate. And in just a second, we should have some results. And there we go. As we can see, we already have results. So perfect. That's what we're looking for here. So we'll go ahead and we'll hit accept. Let's change this to path, just because that's where I stuck them, and then hit run real quick. And then once again, we have all of the results right here. If we need more space, we can always close this history panel, or we can close out the AI panel if we wanted to. But again, pretty straightforward. We can see the applicable environment variables, which user SID, et cetera, et cetera. So if we actually want to cross-reference those back to users and we're like, okay, well, what do these pertain to? I can actually go back to the users table, and then we can actually see the UUID over here. So we could cross-reference, but again, that's where it's very helpful for that history and then the AI component. And what's really cool, so these are stored, but let's say I wanted to check out the default environment variables for a different device. I can simply just select that device, hit select. It'll load the query with the results, as you can see from that desktop machine. But if I want to run it on this new device, I hit run, and then we'll actually get that same query run on a different device. So even though the intent is kind of one-to-one device deep investigation, you can actually pivot between devices if you had a couple that were suspect, and then you kind of gone ahead, used AI to fully craft your queries. I genuinely nowadays only write queries this way, because I'll have AI create the query, I'll test it, I'll refine, I'll go back and forth, and then when I'm good to go, I'll go ahead and save that moving forward. And again, you could always call the history of any of these and get a quick bird's eye view of what those actually entail. And if you wanted to, you could just save them for future use, give it a title, something like Nick's best query, and then go from there. So yeah, again, not necessarily a new feature. We've had rapid response, we have history of queries, we have QuerySmith, but we're putting them all together because, again, really the goal here is to minimize time to context for a given admin, and also kind of help with query fidelity and just making sure it's tuned to your given use case. And that's really what we're hoping to achieve here. So hopefully that was helpful. I think this is super cool. And again, this is literally the only way I write queries now. But if you have any specific use cases, please let me know. Otherwise, check out our videos on YouTube and LinkedIn. And until next time, see ya, everybody.